Good morning, everyone. My name is Luke Carroll.
And I'm Mahnoz Anguri, and we're your hosts for this morning's inaugural Luminas ceremony.
Inaugural, come on, that's exciting, isn't it? Today we gather on Gadigal land to honour storytellers, leaders and cultural visionaries. Those who don't just reflect the world as it is, but imagine what it could be. We begin by acknowledging the traditional owners, custodians of the land. We pay our respects to elders past and present. We also like to take a moment to honour those from our media and creative communities who cannot be with us here today. Colleagues, mentors and friends whose influence continues to live in the work we do and the spaces we create.
Before we begin, we invite you to ground yourselves in this place and in the stories that have existed here for tens of thousands of years. It is now our great honour to welcome Paul Ryan from the Gujaga Foundation for the Welcome of Country.
Sorry, it's a little bit difficult one up. Good morning, everyone. My name is Paul Ryan and I belong to the Dharawal people. On behalf of my family and my community, I welcome you here to my people's traditional lands. My community at La Perouse has a traditional and ongoing connection to coastal Sydney and the Illawarra. My grandfather's traditional lands goes from the shores of where we gather here today, with Sydney Harbour, down south to the Shoalhaven River. My grandfather's family lived in camps close to where we are, including spots at Elizabeth Bay, Lavender Bay, Rose Bay, the Botanical Gardens, and the old government boat shed, where we stand on this land of the Opera House. They would engage in the local economy by giving boomerang throwing demonstrations, selling shell ornaments and giving tours to the tourists, just like generations before them, including the likes of Cora Gooseberry, William Worrell and Thomas Tamara. In 1883, under the newly formed Aboriginal Protection Board of New South Wales, our families were moved to the La Perouse mission to be out of sight, out of mind of the colony. We continue to live on our country today and are working hard to make sure we're still here for generations to come. And our younger ones know what our stories are and where our old people lived. Once again, on behalf of the La Perouse Aboriginal community, the Gujaga Foundation and the traditional owners of coastal Sydney I welcome you to my traditional lands, which is all of our country. Have an amazing day. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul, for that always generous welcome, and get well soon, brother. Paul and I actually used to play rugby league against each other, and I think he tackled me once and I did a similar injury, so I've never forgotten it, but we're great mates. Thanks, brother. As we gather this morning, and before we do, I also want to pay my respects to that proud Aboriginal man from the Wiradjuri and Ngunnawal nations, but born and bred here on Gadigal and also on Bidjigal land. So it gives me great pleasure to co-host this amazing event that we have here today, celebrating diversity. And as we gather this morning, we ask everyone in the room to hold this space with care, respect, and openness for culture, for community, and for each other being honoured here today. Because the Luminas is a ceremony grounded in shared commitment, a commitment to truth, to representation, and to the power of storytelling to shift systems. Talking about great friends of mine, it gives me now great pleasure to give a warm welcome here, the Director of Programming for the Sydney Opera House, my great mate, Brenna Hobson.
Thank you, Luke, and thank you, Paul, for that generous welcome. I would also like to pay my respects to elders past and present as we gather here on Shibagali on Gadigal land. When Diversity Arts, when Lena and when Simone came to us and said, we've got this idea, we want to create this event to honour the extraordinary contribution of diverse leaders in culture, in the arts and in the media, I was so pleased that they came to us. We couldn't wait to say yes and say thank you for joining us here. As I've been chatting to people in the room this morning, I've been really struck by all of the people who've had such a profound impact on my career who've been here. So on behalf of the Opera House, I want to thank you all for the work that you do, for the leadership that you bring, for the storytelling, for the telling truth to power. This work's incredibly important. I know it's more difficult now than it ever has been. It's also more important than it ever has been. Thank you to all of the people who've influenced my career. Thank you to Lena and Diversity Arts for being such a fantastic partner, and to Media Diversity for being a new but really exciting partner. We're thrilled to have you all here and looking forward to the event.
Thank you so much, Brenna and the Opera House team, for your great support of today's first of its kind event. The Luminas is a co-production by two organisations that have spent years, often behind the scenes, doing the work of changing the face of our industries. Diversity Arts Australia and Media Diversity Australia exist because representation does not happen by accident. It happens through advocacy, persistence, and community. These organisations are small but mighty, and today is a celebration of what happens when that work is sustained, supported, and believed in. Let's take a moment to see their impact.
Diversity Arts Australia is the national voice for ethno-cultural and migrant equity in the arts. We work with creatives, communities, and organisations to ensure our creative sector reflects who we really are. Because right now, too many stories are missing. Too many voices are not heard. We run anti-racism and equity training. We build skills. We open pathways into leadership. And we work with institutions to create real change. We produce research, share knowledge, and amplify the work of culturally and racially marginalised creatives. Because representation is just not visibility. It's power. It's participation. It's who shapes the future. We're here to shift the balance, to open doors, to change systems, so our stories are recognised. And every artist and creative has a future.
I was at my suburban gym in Sydney, and it was breakfast television, and on every single network, every single person on screen was of an Anglo background. When I looked around and saw all these different languages being spoken and colours, I thought, there is this enormous disconnect.
Courts and judges losing touch with thrown out.
We created Media Diversity Australia because every time you turn on the TV, every time you open the newspaper, you could see that there were people who were excluded from the national conversation. These communities, a lot of them where English is spoken as a second language, don't trust or engage with mainstream media because there's nothing for them there.
Indigenous people are so used to seeing our presence in the media as being a negative one. We're constantly told that we're a problem, that we're just an issue that needs to be fixed.
That's part of our mission, to re-engage with these communities and place more trust in the institutions of journalism.
And it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the stage the CEO of Diversity Arts Australia, Lena Narwus, and the CEO of Media Diversity Australia, Paula Kruger.
Hi everyone. On behalf of Diversity Arts Australia's board and team, I'm really honoured to welcome you to the first Luminas. We stand on Tupigali land of the Gadigal people, and I pay my deepest respects to elders past and present and to First Nations people who are here today. We stand on the lands of the original storytellers, knowledge holders, and cultural leaders of this country. And as culturally diverse communities, we recognise that our stories are here because of the space First Nations people have held and continue to hold with strength, with generosity and resistance. In a time when truth is contested, when stories are silenced, when communities are under attack, gatherings like this create space for reflection, for joy, so important right now, for connection, and for being together in ways that sustain us. Here and overseas, we're seeing growing attacks on freedom of expression, and in many parts of the world, artists and journalists are risking their lives and sometimes losing their lives to tell the truth. And the Luminas is about recognising those who speak, who create, who challenge and lead, often in the face of structural obstacles and systemic harm. The Luminas has come together through a lot of shared work, so I'm going to definitely thank everybody. Since 2016, Diversity Arts' strategic plan had included a commitment to this event. And when Media Diversity Australia began and had the same idea, it was Simone Amelia Jordan, who was working across both organisations, who brought us together to shape this as a shared honours event. I want to acknowledge the incredible honorees, those here with us and those we honour in memoriam. I know how difficult it was for the judges to choose, and that's a reflection of the strength and the depth of talent across our shared communities and in this room. I also want to acknowledge those we've lost in recent months and years, whose impact is still deeply felt. Thank you to our judging panels for their care and integrity that they brought to this process. Their names are all on the program. And thank you to our partners and our collaborators, the incredible Sydney Opera House, especially Brenna Hobson, Baptiste Cornier and Daniel Potter for holding this space with us and for opening those doors. To Media Diversity Australia, SBS and NITV, World Stories, the Office for the Arts, Hachette Australia, Creative Australia, Create New South Wales and Design Awards, thank you. We would not have been able to do this without your incredible generosity, support and partnership. And to our wonderful team at Diversity Arts Australia who carried this work with such care and commitment. We're smaller than we look, but our hearts are mighty and our belief in the work we do is what carries this organisation. Thank you, Glyza Perez, Joanne Cooper, Kevin Bathman, Pascal Dentos-Berry and Aisha Mahmood, and our wonderful board. And a special acknowledgement, of course, to our event lead, Simone Amelia Jordan, whose vision and commitment have helped bring the inaugural Luminas to life. We don't have the big bucks, but the least we can do is thank people, right? Like, come on. And importantly, I honour our shared communities, all of you here today and those who are not here. Thank you for being here and for being part of this moment.
Thanks, Lena. Nisam Bulavinaka. I pay my respects to the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. Aurokova kadokai ira na Gadigal o ira na Itauke I Vanua Vaka Eora. Paul, I'm so honoured to pay those respects in the language of my grandmother, who is a Lauan woman from the Fiji Islands, whether it be Lau Islands or La Perouse. We're connected by oceans, and we also share, the important acknowledgement and appreciation of those protocols that allow us to welcome, acknowledge, and show respect. So, really appreciate your welcome to country today. That's not all we share today. We share the challenges of our communities being underrepresented and misrepresented in the media. This is a direct result of a very orchestrated misinformation and disinformation campaign that began over 200 years ago. At Media Diversity Australia, we want storytelling to reflect who we really are in a nation that's full of nations. And, we're multicultural, we're multilingual. where we have multifaceted stories. In that world, why be so mono? Look at this room. This room is so not mono, you know? And speaking of which, you know, Diversity Arts Australia, Lena, Simone, the entire team, thank you for your efforts in bringing this important event together, and also for always bringing the spice as well. We like that. I'd also like to recognise my predecessor, Mariam Vaisadeh. It was during her tenure as CEO of Media Diversity Australia that she secured seed funding for this event from the Department of Arts and the Minister for Arts, Tony Burke. This occasion would not be happening without all of them coming together. And also to my colleague, Susie Monza, you are the fire in the soul of MDA, Susie. So here's to telling our stories on our terms, and today we honour those who speak truth and reshape the conversations that this country needs to have. Thank you.
Thank you, Lena and Paula. One more time, a big round of applause for two powerhouse women of colour dedicated to community-centred leadership in the arts, creative, screen and media sectors. Now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce and to open today's inaugural Luminas ceremony. We welcome a rising voice in our community, a young, queer, proud Gomeroi woman whose artistry is also already making waves throughout Australia. Please welcome La Monet.
This is my original. I released this one this year. It's the first song I've put out, and I did it all independently, which was terrifying, but such a great experience. But this one's about my nan. You know, my mob's from our country way, Moree, so that's Gomeroi. And if you've been out there, you know it's hot and it's flat. But the people, they're truly one of a kind. And my nan was definitely that. And when I wrote this song, it was after she had passed away. And for a long time, it was a hard song for me to sing. And sometimes it still is. Because it's a little bit heartbreaking, you know. Grief works that way. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But it's about her. And the more I've sung it and I've heard people's feedback and I've heard their take on what they think the song is for them, the more it's kind of shifted the meaning, you know. Before it was a song of heartache, but now I view it as a celebration of all the beautiful black women from the past, now, and gonna be in the future. It's of all the mission girls and the Koori Roses. And I've also realised that this song is going to live on past me. You might not remember me, but you're going to remember the song. And so you're going to remember my nan. So in a way, she's going to live on forever. And that's really beautiful. So I hope you like it.
Diamond
Machine girl, Curry Rose. Machine girl, Curry Rose. Machine girl, Curry Rose. Machine girl, Curry Rose. Behind the mission fence is where you grew. The sisters all dressed in white told you their stories of a land far away. Your beautiful black skin taught a tale of pain and sorrow, a history of proud people, of refusal and defiance. Machine girl, Curry Rose. Machine girl, Curry Rose. Machine girl, Curry Rose. Machine girl, Curry Rose. Thank you. I just want to say thank you to all the organisers that put this on. Also, thank you to Simone for including me in this. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the Monet for that amazing performance, and thank you not only for being here and performing for us, but giving us an insight into such a special and personal story. Can I hear another round of applause for the Monet? Now, today's honorees were selected through a public nomination and the careful deliberation of 2 independent industry panels. On behalf of Diversity Arts Australia and Media Diversity Australia, we thank our judges for their time, rigour and care. To present our first category, the Storyteller Honour, sponsored by social impact content agency World Stories, please welcome emerging leader, advocate and visual artist with disability, Emmanuel Asante, and writer, festival director and chair of the National Film and Sound Archive of Australia, Annette Chunwa.
The storyteller category honors those who shape how we see the world, and how we understand ourselves within it. Our sponsor for this category is a social impact content agency, World Stories, with director Shannon O'Meara presenting the trophies.
Storytellers are not just observers, they are translators of the truth, of memory and identity. It's our honour to present the inaugural Storyteller Honour for the Arts to photographer, playwright, artist, performer and rainbow champion, William Young. Please welcome the inaugural Storyteller Honour for the Arts, William Young.
When I was about 6 years old, one of the kids at school called me Ching Chong Chinaman, born in a jar, christened in a teapot, ha ha ha. I had no idea what he was talking about, although I knew from his tone that he was being horrible to me. So I went home to my mother and I said, "Mum, I'm not Chinese, am I?" And my mother looked at me very sternly and she said, "Yes, you are." Her tone was hard, and I knew in that moment that being Chinese was like some terrible curse, and I could not rely on my mother for help. I came out as a gay man in the early 70s in Sydney, in those heady days of gay liberation. And 14 years later, I came out as a Chinese. I was able to embrace my Chinese heritage. In the 80s, I did slide projection. And in that medium, it's quite natural for you to talk with the slides. And so I began to do performances, monologues with slide projection, and they were very successful for me. And many of them have toured the world. I met up with Annette Chunwo in about 2008. She was the CEO of Performance Foray, an Asian Australian organisation dedicated to having a profile of Australian Chinese or Asian Australians. We did a workshop called Stories East and West, and that was very successful. And after that, it became the foundation. Storytelling became one of the foundations for Performance Foray, which is now called Contemporary Asian Australian Performance. Storytelling is good for us because it doesn't require a big production. It's basically one person talking, telling their story. And we can do this and get our messages across and in an entertaining way. Thank you to all people who have supported me and for this organisation for hosting the awards. Thank you.
And now for the inaugural Storytelling Honour in Media, a true voice of clarity, intelligence, and fearless commentary. Jane Fran.
Most of the people on Australian television are white. It's just a fact. One easily confirmed by having eyes. Block people fleeing places such as
Did we
Iran.
call what was happening in Myanmar a genocide?
You see, the New York Times knows full well that there are Palestinian journalists within Gaza.
Poor educational outcomes, lack of jobs, and or any combination thereof that may contribute to the incarceration of a person.
But the whole point of journalism is to put things on the record that are not on the record.
More than half of 147 Indigenous people who died in custody had not been found guilty.
But sure, kindly commit less crime, even though you've not been convicted of one.
Hello, this is my impression of if this article was a person.
Hello, Israel. We just thought that we would let you know that
They carry a
this is literally your remix.
If you're French journalist, the stories that we narrated was her story. She had that image, that beautiful image of her holding a camera next to her face. She was killed in an airstrike. Don't you dare fucking tell me you don't target journalists suggesting that it was a story.
But I did see that, and I did hear that. And I'm not going to let you twist the narrative.
Please welcome our storyteller, Honour for Media, Jen Fran.
Thank you. God, I've said a lot of shit on the internet, haven't I? No regrets. Thank you so much for this incredible honour. I'm really honoured to be here, and I'm really honoured to be part of this group of people, this outstanding group of people. Just even the thought that I could be anywhere in their company is incredibly humbling. So I just want to congratulate all of them first and foremost. I also actually want to just point out Majida Abud Saab, who's also a Luminas. Yes, please, give her a round of applause. Yeah, in particular. You know, we're the two Lebos. I use that word very deliberately, Lebo, because Lebo is, as the great other Lebo writer, Michael Muhammad Ahmed, says so brilliantly, Lebo is actually a quintessentially Australian phenomena. It exists here. It was made from here. It is of here. And I tend to have actually quite a fractured relationship with diversity because I don't think that there's anything particularly diverse about me. I think that I am a quintessential Australian. And I think my story is a quintessential Australian one. And in fact, I look around at this room and this room is a quintessentially Australian room. So it's an incredible honour to be in this room and to be honoured in this way. And Majida, we are of very different generations. And I look at all that you have contributed to Australia and to the Australian media. And I hope that that means that the next person, the next Lebo that's here in a few years or in a generation's time can build on what you started and on what hopefully I have continued. So thank you. And a very big shout out to my mum and dad, who are over there in the corner, yeah, and my sister. In this time, I've really been reflecting a lot on elders and on culture and on the culture of the Levant, which is, as we all know, under threat in the worst possible way, and what it looks like to continue that culture and to learn from our elders, and not just specifically my parents or those in my family that have come before me, Majida included, but our elders here in this country, First Nations elders in particular, and to engage with their work and with their scholarship. And I was given a great piece of advice by a friend who said to me, any thought that you think that you have had about this country, any original thought you think that you have come up with, I guarantee you a black woman has had it first. And that has proven true time and time and time again. So we are indebted to our First Nations people also. Thank you once again. I'm honoured, I'm flattered, and it's wonderful to be here with all of you. Thank you.
One more time, a big round of applause for both Jan and William, our first honorees here for the inaugural Luminas. Our next category honours leadership, not just as title, but as action. Leadership that opens doors, leadership that holds others up, leadership that changes systems. Please welcome our presenters, writer, performer, broadcaster and academic, Sunil Badami, and the Head of Indigenous News and Current Affairs at NITV, the deadly Natalie Armat.
This category is a special honour for visionaries transforming systems, mentoring others, and creating spaces for our communities. It's sponsored by SBS and NITV, with the network's Community Engagement and Partnerships Manager, Diana Kazikia, presenting the trophies. Please give her a hand.
It is our very great privilege to present the inaugural Leadership Honour for the Arts to Rhoda Roberts AO. I'd now like to invite Tracy Askew to accept the inaugural Leadership Honour for the Arts on behalf of Auntie Rhoda Roberts and her family.
I'll keep it short. I got a message from the children yesterday saying, would you be able to accept an award on the family's behalf? I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners and storytellers on whose land we live, walk and grow. I'm honoured to accept this award on behalf of Rhoda and her wonderful family. They are so proud of her and this award represents so much of who Rhoda was. So I accept this on their behalf with gratitude and so much pride for their incredible mum and partner. Thank you.
And now for the Leadership Honour in Media, another unwavering female Indigenous voice of truth-telling, courage and mentorship, Lorena Allen.
The government has the power to make laws for Aboriginal people. We should consult Aboriginal people when we make those laws.
Wow, this is overwhelming, really is overwhelming. Thank you, Paul, for your generous welcome to country, beautiful Gadigal country, and that's continuing the traditions and protocols of our people going back thousands of years. Yeah. I live and work on the lands of the Wongal clan at Burramadagal, and my family come from the Yuwalarai and Gamilarai peoples of far northwest New South Wales, so I'm a visitor here too, to this beautiful land. I came here in 1989 to start work in the ABC as a 19-year-old cadet in the radio newsroom. I was terrified, a bit like I am right now. I was a long way from home, in a big city, armed only with a journalism degree and some idea of wanting to change things. Looking back, it was a very tough place to work as a young person of colour. There were very few other people of colour, apart from our beautiful sister Rhoda, working in the ABC at the time. It had just done a big recruitment pitch for a number of Indigenous journalists, and I was one of those people. But we were all spread across the country and we all felt quite isolated. Back then at the ABC, there was nothing formal to support our employment, no well-trodden career paths to follow, no RAP plans, no training goals. After a stint in news and Triple J, I left the ABC, and when I was talked into returning to the ABC, it was to Radio National to present and produce the Away program, the Aboriginal Arts and Culture show, that at that point was about a year old. It's now 30 years old, and it's still going strong, and it has been a home for many, many talented Indigenous broadcasters over the years, all of whom have continued to excel and shine in that role despite the ongoing challenges of being a First Nations person in a big, wide organisation that is resistant to change. And I'm very proud of them all. And that is why this is such an honour, because as so many of you understand, it is a recognition of the very unglamorous and often invisible work of the invisible labour of agitating for change in mainstream media. It is work that goes on behind the scenes, lobbying for changes to editorial policies, to terminology, calling out racist behaviour and poor reporting, security of employment, career progression, in pushing for cultural safety for our people. It's the kind of work you get called difficult for doing, but which is essential if we are to continue to work in the mainstream and bring to the mainstream the benefits of our knowledges and expertise. I would not have survived it without the love and support of First Nations women and women of colour throughout my career, who have uplifted me and dusted me off and kept me going, including our beautiful sister Rhoda Roberts, who I so deeply admired and who I had the total joy to work with for many years at the ABC. We had so much fun. Those women are the heroes of this story, and I'm so grateful to them. I'm also grateful to my kids who are here, my adult children who are here today, Lewis and May. Thank you for being on this crazy journey with me. And I want to thank you all for your solidarity with me and with each other. That solidarity is essential, I think, if in these times where our fellow journalists are paying with their lives for bringing us the truth of genocide. We all need to keep speaking up for them and for the truth and for each other and for what is right. Yalu, thank you.
Congratulations to our brilliant honorees so far, and rest in eternal power and peace to the beloved Auntie Rhoda, who was head of Indigenous programming here at the Sydney Opera House from 2012 to 2021, among many other roles. Before presenting our final honour of the ceremony, the Hall of Fame category, we're super excited to welcome a trio of performers who showcase a rhythm and dance experience that will transform and inspire you. Please give a very warm welcome to Lucky African Dance.
If you're not ready, make sure, I'm just going to tell you this, if you're not ready, I'm going to find you. I know all of you where you guys live. Okay, get ready. Some of you don't get fined, but some of you will. please stand up, please.
When you come to African party, if you don't dance, you have to pay.
And make sure your hands is free. And give yourself a bit of respect. You don't have to dance, but just move. Yeah? You move. So now, hands out like this. Everyone, hands out like this. That's first one. Yeah? First one. Make sure second one. So when you do it, you just don't listen like that. So we're going to say like this. Yeah? We say, I saw this. So now, we go to the second one. We go, second one, second one, second one, second one. So now, we go to the third one. You first see your partner like this. Battering, 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 battering. So now the fourth one. Look at this. So now, this one you need a partner. Hey, ready? Let me go. Ready? We go.
Come on, a big round of applause for the lucky African dance group. A perfect celebration of culture, movement and joy, delivered with a 1,000-watt smile by the lead drummer there. One more time, a big round of applause for the lucky African dance group. And if you're not already warm for that beautiful autumn sun coming through, you most definitely now are, especially your hands from that early clapping. We should be, Brenna, we need to talk to you. We could maybe get a weekly cultural dance class happening up here in Northern Foyer. What do you think? In the Opera House every week. My people will talk to your people, Brenna, all right? Or especially you. Talk directly to you. Now to present our last category for today's ceremony, the Hall of Fame Honour. Please welcome performing artist, cultural producer and community worker, Thelma MC Trade Thomas, and the head of language content, audio and language content at SBS, Davide Skypa Piatra. Please make them welcome.
Thank you, Luke. So this final honour recognises those whose impact spans decades, whose work has shifted culture, created pathways and left a lasting legacy. It is sponsored by Hachette Australia with CEO Louise Stark presenting the trophies. It is a great privilege to present the inaugural Luminas Hall of Fame recognition for the arts to the late Auntie Ujuru Nunakul. Accepting Auntie Ujuru's honour today will be her grandson Malachi, who has also voiced her tribute video.
Poet, activist, legend. The first Aboriginal voice to publish a book of verse, breaking the silence of a nation. A warrior for the 1967 referendum, returned an MBE to demand land rights, established the Nunakul Nugi Centre. She used poetry as a weapon for justice and education as a tool for peace. Remain our guide. Ujuru Nunakul.
Please welcome Malachi, the great-grandson of our inaugural Hall of Fame honoree of the arts, Auntie Ujuru Nunakul.
All right, I think the African dancers beat all the nerves out of me. I feel a bit better now. But yeah, firstly, I'm Malachi. I am the great-grandson, one of many great-grandchildren of Ujuru Nunakul, also known as Kath Walker, and it's a pleasure for me to be here today. It's an absolute privilege and honour to represent my family and to represent my great-grandmother. And I didn't want to cry this soon, but yeah, it's a privilege, and thank you to the organisations that have come together and gave my great-grandmother the name into the Hall of Fame. It's pretty surreal, you know. And I was trying to come up with a speech and I couldn't. I really couldn't come up with a speech. My great-grandmother has done so much, and she's done great poems. She's done great interviews. She's served this country. Yeah. I think I could be up here and talk about my great-grandmother for days on end, as long as I stop crying, you know, stop tearing up. But you know, I could be up here for days on end, and far out. Yeah. I think one thing I could say is she had a gift, and that gift was her word, and she was impeccable with her word. And I think that gift, that changed a lot of people's lives. Not just my family, not just this is my big brother here, coming up there, my big brother. Yeah, not just my family, not just my people, but this country as one. She really came together for us, and she didn't use that gift for herself. She didn't use it as power for herself, but she used it as power for the people. And that's what makes me so proud to be her great-grandson, is that she used that correctly. And thank you very much for honouring my great-grandmother. And sorry I couldn't come up with a speech, but there's just no words I really had. I couldn't come up with it. But thank you very much.
And now, for the Hall of Fame honor in media, well, a pillar of her community, a trusted voice in news, and a trailblazer for cultural diversity on our screen. Majda Aboud Saab, OAM.
Pakistan Devlet Başkanı General Ziaül Hak, Cumhurbaşkanı...
Our information unit provides information to non-English speakers in their own languages.
The broadcasting service was begun in 1975 by convinced volunteers, given a grant of $60,000 by a government not only far from similarly convinced, but somewhat skeptical. It was to be an experiment for 3 months.
I was 18 when I started. It was the biggest opportunity of my life. Our role is to connect, share, reflect their issues, and empower them.
If I'm Italian and sitting at home and all of a sudden I listen to an Italian song, it takes me back years and I feel like this is really, this is my home.
Close community links of SBS broadcasters pave the way for a two-way communication between the listening communities and mainstream Australia.
الناس حست إنه الإذاعة إيدها على نبض قضاياهم. كيف ممكن نستمع لهالقضايا ونطور هالقضايا اللي عم تواجههم لحتى تكون فرص لكي ينمو فيها ويقدموا لنفسهم ولعائلاتهم ولمجتمعهم ولأستراليا بشكل عام. What will never change is breaking the loneliness and the isolation of migrants who come to this country with the hope that they want to do well.
And please welcome our inaugural Hall of Fame honoree for media, Majda Aboud Saab, OAM.
Thank you, Davide. Thank you, Media Arts Diversity Australia. Thank you, Arts Australia, for everything that you have done to put this amazing recognition, celebration together. I am deeply honoured. I'm deeply humbled and grateful. Having a vision and a belief in yourself, despite obstacles, helps you to be the best and the truest version of yourself and makes a difference in our world. And I saw so many different versions today that it makes me just, my heart is going to explode. By connecting to the universal power where everything is possible, we realize that we are not a drop in the ocean. We are the ocean in a drop. Manifest through your universal power significant service to improve the world through the roles we express in life. Magnificent manifestation of contributions, the wealth of art and culture that we see today, and what you do to make a big difference to change the landscape of media in this country and art in this country is absolutely incredible. Manifest significant service as journalists, actors, artists, doctors, customer service, whatever role you undertake, strive for social cohesion, like glue that bounds communities together. Empower communities, empower by embracing pride in the values of diversity, by service to others regardless of race, regardless of gender, sexual orientation, disability, or whatever other differences. We are all designed to be diverse, and this is beautiful. I used service in the media, multicultural and multilingual broadcasting for SBS for 38 years, and chairing the Media, Entertainment and Arts Alliance House Committee at SBS to try and help my colleagues of more than 68 languages for 20 years. And these were the greatest years of service of my life. Volunteering provided me with the satisfaction of service beyond work in the media to Marine Rescue New South Wales, where we were helping people on the water for 6 years, and continued to be my passion after 9 years helping to prevent suicide at Lifeline. When you excel in what you do, you leave a significant, satisfying contribution that makes this world a better place. And of course, we don't do it alone. We do it with so many other people who just jump in and do whatever they can to help make this place better, a better world. Surround yourself with supportive people who help you grow, and together, as I did with my husband, we faced life's journey as a team. I thank his mother for doing a fine job. Together, we pass on to our children and grandchildren our generational resilience and respect. I want to thank everyone who worked with me, who contributed to the projects and goals and visions of making Australia a diverse and multicultural and multilingual country, the best in the world. And I want to thank my family, I want to thank Australia and all who inspired and encouraged me over the years to make my life very, very special. It is in service that you find yourself. Finally, I believe that we should always believe in ourselves and in our goals and in our vision and honour our path. So, keep spreading the love, keep spreading the joy, keep spreading the peace. Thank you.
As we come to a close, we return to why we are here, to honour courage, to honour truth, to honour those who continue to show up even when the path is not easy. Thank you to the Luminas media partners at SBS and NITV for helping bring these stories to a wider audience.
We'd like to say thank you again to our honorees, our presenters, our partners and our community. Today's sponsors, the Office for the Arts, Sydney Opera House, Hatchet Australia, SBS NITV, World Stories, Creative Australia and Create New South Wales. And sincere thanks to Charles Penton-Dodd from Design Awards for our beautiful trophies, plus everyone who brought this event to life, from production to creative and the many hands behind the scenes.
As we leave this room, we carry more than celebration. We carry responsibility to tell the stories that matter, to open doors for those still waiting, and to ensure that the future of our industries looks nothing like its past. Because visibility is powerful, but what we do with it is what changes everything. This is the Luminas, and this is only the beginning.
Yes, indeed. And beautifully said, wasn't it? Thank you very much. And it's been an absolute pleasure hosting with you today. Big round of applause for Mahanas, everybody. And I don't know about you, but this is the inaugural Luminas. Big round of applause, everybody. And we want to dream big like our honorees here. And Tracy, Brenner, it's been great having it in the Northern Foyer, but we do want to dream big and maybe make it grow. Just behind me is a venue called the Concert Hall. It's about 2,000 seats. Let's dream big and hopefully one day host it in there, hey? What do you think about that? We would now like to invite all honorees to join us in front of the lectern here for a photo, a group photo, and we thank you all for being a part of the inaugural Luminas. Give yourselves a big round of applause, everybody. Thank you, and see you again next year.